Good morning, children. This week we are going to discuss the last part of the story Horegallu by Sudha Murty. So you know that in the first part we have seen a remote village where she spent her childhood days. She says that she gives you a picturesque image of the village. She says that there was a huge banyan tree right in the middle of the village, and she used to play under that. And she observed many things, that there was a Horegallu under the banyan tree. So Horegallu means a stone bench placed on two vertical ones. So in these days, as people had less transportation facilities, they used to walk on foot. So as they had to cover long distances with heavy headloads, these Horegallus helped them a lot. So they could unload their heavy headloads with the help of these Horegallus, and they could sit there, chat for a while. So she observed, while playing under the banyan tree, Sudha Murty as a girl observed many things. She used to watch at her grandfather, who was a retired school teacher. He used to sit under this banyan tree and he used to chat with these travelers. So the travelers, mainly the villagers and the farmers. So they used to stop by the Horegallu because they can easily unload their headloads. And after that they would sit there for a while. They could have water from the earthen pot kept under the or around that banyan tree, and they could sit there, chat with the fellow travelers, and they used to talk, or they used to chat with the school teacher or her grandfather. So she observed that they shared their worries, their problems, their anxieties. It can be their family problems or financial problems or about the climatic conditions as they were farmers. So her grandfather used to listen to them. He never proposed a suggestion or imposed his judgment over that he just listened to these problems. So as she was so small, she couldn't understand what her grandfather was doing. But she had some special memories regarding the Horegallu, because the villagers or the farmers always gather around that Horegallu, and they used to sit and chat for a while, and they used to continue their journey taking this heavy burdens with them. So after that, so in the second part we see another incident from her life, and she realizes the significance of Horegallus in her life. Horegallu, here that Horegallu holds some special memory for Sudha Murty. She says that her grandfather used to sit there and or wait for this travelers, and they used to chat for a while. So when they discussed or when they shared their troubles or their problems, their worries, they were so cool, or they were so relaxed, so they continue their journey with ease. So we shall continue reading Horegallu. That here Sudha Murty observes that the villagers used to gather around the banyan tree, and they used to engage in conversations, and while playing around she used to listen to these conversations. And she says most of them were villagers taking a break from their work in the fields nearby. They had to walk long distances each day, carrying heavy burdens on their heads. Tired out by the heat, they would drink the cool water, wash their faces with it, and chat with grandfather. Their conversations would be about their daily lives and worries. So she used to observe the people around the banyan tree, around the Horegallu. She says most of them were villagers from the nearby paddy fields. So they used to work, farmers. And they used to walk long distances each day, carrying heavy burdens on their heads. So they used to walk to the city or to the nearest area by on foot and by walking on foot. So they used to carry heavy burdens. So in the hot summer, so in the beginning itself she said it's hot summer, and they stop by. They stop by the Horegallu. They unload their burdens. They unload their heavy headloads. തലച്ചുമടൊക്കെ അവിടെ ഇറക്കി വെച്ച് they used to sit there, relax there, drinking cool water from the earthen pot. It's already said in the first part. They used to drink water from the earthen pot, and they used to wash their hands and faces, and they used to chat with the grandfather. And their conversations, main topics would be their daily lives, or their worries, or their problems, or their issues, or something related to their lives. They say, Master Ji, that it has been dry weather. Or Master Ji, difficult for me to carry these large loads on my head. Then, thank God for this Horegallu. I wish my son would help, but he only wants to go to the city. So they spoke about the difficulties they faced in their lives. Like they used to comment on the weather, as they are all peasants or farmers. They depend much on the weather conditions. So they complain about weather, or they comment on their heavy headloads that they had to carry because they get fed up with carrying these heavy headloads, or they are complaining about their family, that I wish my son would help me, but he wouldn't. And my grandfather, so Sudhamurti observes that my grandfather used to listen to this, listen to them, just listen to them, but just talking to him seemed to refresh them for the journey. So my grandfather used to listen to these problems. Whenever these villagers, farmers gather around the banyan tree, her grandfather would also be there, and grandfather used to listen to them, and it seemed to refresh them from the journey. Like that, they got refreshed or relaxed just by sharing their problems. After some time, they would pick up their burdens. So note this point, it's very relevant. So they used to sit there, and they used to chat with grandfather, and grandfather used just to listen to them, and after that they just pick up their burdens, and they with some ease and go on their way. Go on means continue their journey. So they don't stop there, or they don't relax for the whole day. They just stop there for a while, have a chat, share their problems, and grandfather just listen to them. After that, they pick up their heavy headloads again, and they continue their journey. So this Horegallu was an important feature in their lives, and as a child I would not often understand what they blessed it so often for being there. So I never used to understand the importance of the Horegallu at that age, as she is very young or very small. She didn't understand the significance of that Horegallu at that time, but it's all, after all, it's a stone bench. So whenever they comment on their difficulties, they say that this Horegallu is a blessing. This Horegallu is actually as a blessing. But as a child, she couldn't understand the significance. Significance means importance of Horegallu. She says, it's just a stone. Then grandfather used to tell me, child, a Horegallu is essential in any journey. So my grandfather tells me the importance of Horegallu. He says that we all carry our burdens according to our situations and capacities, but every once in a while we need to stop, put down the burden and rest. So that is the significance of Horegallu. We all carry some kind of problems, some kind of worries or waverings, problems, issues with us. But once in a while, so we are supposed to carry that, we are supposed to bear that, but once in a while we need to stop, put down the burden and rest. Only then we can be refreshed enough to pick up the load once more. The Horegallu gives everyone that opportunity to do so. It helps people regain their strength. That's a very relevant thing. Horegallus are there that you can leave your burdens, that you can avoid your burdens. Horegallus എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നമ്മുടെ ആവലാതികൾ, നമ്മുടെ പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ, പ്രോബ്ലംസിനെ നമുക്ക് കളഞ്ഞു വിടാനുള്ള അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കളയാനുള്ള സ്ഥലമല്ല. പകരം you keep it there for a while and you take it back. You take it back that you get refreshed. Once in a while you stop by and you leave your burden there and you relax and refresh yourself. Then you pick it up the load again and you start your journey. നമുക്ക് നമ്മുടെ തലച്ചുമടുകൾ ഒരു സമയത്തേക്ക് അവിടെ വെക്കാനും, that you can take it back, you get refreshed and you get relaxed and you take back your headload and you carry on, continue your journey. So it helps people to regain our strength. ഒരു ലിറ്ററൽ മീനിങ്ങിൽ നമ്മൾ നോക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ നമ്മളെ തലച്ചുമടുകൾ കുറച്ച് നേരത്തേക്ക് മാറ്റിവെക്കുന്നു, ക്ഷീണം മാറ്റുന്നു, വീണ്ടും ഒരു സ്ട്രെങ്ത്, പുതിയ ശക്തി ആർജിച്ച് നമ്മൾ യാത്ര തുടരുന്നു. പക്ഷേ ഒരു അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഫിലോസഫിക്കൽ മീനിങ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് കുറച്ചും കൂടി ഡീപ്പർ സെൻസിൽ ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് സംതിങ് ദറ്റ് യു കീപ്പ് അസൈഡ് ഫോർ എ വൈൽ. നമ്മളൊരു ഇപ്പോൾ ബുക്കാണെങ്കിലും, ഇഫ് യു കീപ്പ് എ ബുക്ക് ഇൻ യുവർ ഹാൻഡ്, ഇഫ് ഫോർ 5 minutes ഇറ്റ്സ് ഓക്കെ. But if you keep a book for 24 hours, then it will be a burden. If you take a book for 5 minutes if you hold a book 5 minutes in your hand, it's not a problem. But if you hold a book for 24 hours a day, that's a big problem. So the first part of Horegallu is over. Like you see, grandfather around the Horegallu, villagers came around and sit and chat with the grandfather. The second part of the story takes place in Mumbai. She says that when I was working in Mumbai office, now it's Mumbai, then it was Bombay. And you know that Sudha Murty was working in Infosys. She was an engineer. She was working with Infosys. So I met, she has also worked in Tata consultancy. That's why in Mumbai might be. So one of my colleagues means co-worker, kuda joli cheyyunna aalu, colleagues, Rekna, who was a senior clerk, might be middle-aged, very senior, much senior to Sudha Murty. She was a senior clerk, middle-aged and always smiling. And she had done her graduation and been working in the company for nearly 25 years. So you get a character of, some characteristics or some facts regarding Rekna, that she is a senior clerk, she was middle-aged and she was also pleasant face. And she had done graduation and has been working in that office for 25 years. And she went about means do her daily work. Mundane, repetitive work with an infectious cheerfulness. So that office work might be in a corporate office. The work was repetitive. Repetitive means mechanical, boring. Mundane again means boring or. And every day during the lunch hour, she would sit with some person in one of the rooms and they would have long chats. I would often wonder what they talked about. One day I finally asked her, Rekna, what do you know? What do you talk? And with which each person for the whole lunch hour. Rekna smiled and said simply, they share their troubles with me. So here you get a different picture of grandfather. So grandfather used to sit under a banyan tree near the Horegallu and he used to chat with the peasants, farmers. Now you see, you are in a corporate office and you have to read it like it has been around 25 years, span of 25. After 25 years, while this small girl Sudha Murty was working in a Mumbai office. So it is after a span of 25 years you meet another one, Rekna. She is a middle-aged clerk working in a corporate office and she used to talk with her colleagues. So during the lunch hour, during the leisure time, she is often seen to be talking with the colleagues. So Curious, out of curiosity, Sudhamurti asked her, "What are you doing? What do you talk with each person? What do you talk with each person during the lunch hour?" And she said simply, "They share their troubles with me." So she, out of curiosity, she asked, "How can you solve the troubles of so many people? Do you always have an answer for them?" "No, I only listen." So that's a very important thing. I just listen to them. So remember, grandfather too said the same thing. He just listened to them. And that's enough. That solves the problem. I was young and incredulous. Incredulous means disbelief. I couldn't believe such a simplistic outlook. Outlook means such a simple answer I never expected. So Rekna answered with the same patience and affection that she must have used with all my colleagues. See that? How does she deal with the colleagues? Patience. To be a good listener, you need not interrupt. You need not judge. You need not make suggestions. ഒരു കാര്യം കേൾക്കുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ നമ്മുടെ സജഷൻസോ നമ്മുടെ ജഡ്ജ്മെൻറ്റോ നമ്മളുടെ അഭിപ്രായങ്ങളോ അവിടെ ആവശ്യമില്ല. ജസ്റ്റ് ലിസൺ ടു ദം. ദാറ്റ്സ് എ വെരി ഗുഡ് quality. Means that you have to just listen to them. God has given me, so see the justifications of Rekna. God has given me 2 years to listen to others. I hear them out with sympathy and without any judgment. Don't jump into judgments. Don't interrupt. അവരെ ശല്യപ്പെടുത്താതിരിക്കുക, അവർ ജഡ്ജ്മെൻറ്റ് ചെയ്യാതിരിക്കുക, അവരെ മീൻസ് നിങ്ങളുടെ ഒപ്പീനിയൻസ് ഇമ്പോസ് ചെയ്യാതിരിക്കുക. ഇത് സോ വിൽ ഷാൽ ഡിസ്കസ് ദ ക്വാളിറ്റീസ് ഓഫ് എ ലിസണർ ലേറ്റർ. നൗ I just listen to them with sympathy without any judgment. ഇതൊക്കെ ക്യാരക്ടർ സ്കെച്ചിൽ വരുന്നതാണ്. You just note these points. When a person in trouble or under a lot of strain finds an outlet for his worries. So that's the thing. We just need an outlet for his worries. It relieves half his burden. So when we have some problems, നമുക്ക് ചില പ്രോബ്ലംസ് ഉണ്ടാവും, ചില ആങ്സൈറ്റീസ് ഉണ്ടാവും, ചില ഇഷ്യൂസ് ഉണ്ടാവും, ചില വറീസ് ഉണ്ടാവും, ആവലാതികളുണ്ടാവും, വേവറിങ്സ് ഉണ്ടാവും. ഈ വേവലാതികൾ ആവലാതികളൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് വി കാൺ ജസ്റ്റ് അവോയ്ഡ് ദം. നമുക്കങ്ങനെ കളയാൻ കഴിയുന്നതല്ല. അപ്പോൾ അവിടെ നമുക്ക് വേണ്ടത് ജസ്റ്റ് an outlet to flush it away. ഇതൊക്കെ ഒന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു തീർക്കാൻ ഒരു ഔട്ട്ലെറ്റാണ്. അതാണ് യു മൈറ്റ് ഹാവ് സീൻ സം ഡിഗ്നിറ്ററീസ്, വലിയ റെസ്പെക്റ്റഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള സെലിബ്രിറ്റീസൊക്കെ ചില സീനിൽ വളരെ ഇമോഷണലായിട്ട് റിയാക്ട്. സോ സി Rekna stand. She says that not even in my dreams I consider that to be the worst kind of betrayal. ചതിയുടെ ഏറ്റവും മോശപ്പെട്ട അവസ്ഥയാണത്. മീൻസ് നിങ്ങളൊരാൾ വിശ്വസിച്ച് നിങ്ങളോടൊരു കാര്യം പറയുന്നു ആൻഡ് യു ഷെയർ ദാറ്റ് സീക്രറ്റ് ടു അതേഴ്സ്. ഗോസിപ്പിംഗ്, നമ്മൾ പറയുന്ന ഗോസിപ്പിംഗ്. ലൈക്ക് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് എ വേസ്റ്റ് കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് ബിട്രയൽ ആൻഡ് ഐ തിങ്ക് ദർ ഈസ് എ ഗ്രേറ്റർ സിൻ ദാൻ ബിട്രേയിങ് സമ്മൺസ് കോൺഫിഡൻസ്. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ വിശ്വസിച്ച് ഒരാളോടൊരു കാര്യം പറയുമ്പോൾ അവരെയാണ് നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നത് കോൺഫിഡൻറ്റ്. ആൻഡ് ഇറ്റ് ക്യാൻ ബി എ കോൺഫിഡൻറ്റ് ആൻഡ് കോൺഫിഡൻറ്റ് ഫീമെയിൽ വേർഷൻ. ദേ ടെൽ മീ ദെയർ വറീസ് അബൌട്ട് because they know that you will never talk about it or gossip about to another person. അങ്ങനെയാണ് നമുക്ക് ക്ലോസ് ഫ്രണ്ട്സ് ഉണ്ടാവുന്നത്. ദാറ്റ് വി റിലൈ ഓൺ ദം കംപ്ലീറ്റ്ലി, that you can depend on them 100%, that you can believe them, or that you are 100% sure about them, guarantee. അപ്പോൾ that is they are our close friends. Such people I never gossip. Only then when they know their words are secure with me, when they know that their words are safe with me, they can talk to me freely. This is way I relieve their burden for a short while till they are ready to pick themselves up and carry on with their journey. See that the peasants too, farmers too, they pick up their burden and they carry on their journey. They pick up their burden and they continue their journey. They just need a break. They just need a relaxation or a relief. Likewise, in the modern world, we need a person to share our problems. And we can't leave the problems with them, but we take up the burden again and we continue the journey. But in between, we need to rest. ഇടയ്ക്ക് നമുക്കൊരു ഗ്യാപ്പ്, നമുക്കൊരു ബ്രേക്ക് വേണം. അവിടെ നമ്മൾ റീഗെയിൻ സ്ട്രെങ്ത്, നമ്മൾ വീണ്ടും ആ ശക്തി വീണ്ടെടുത്ത് യാത്ര തുടരുന്നു. Her words uncannily echoed my grandfather's. ഇവിടെയാണ് that her words strangely, uncannily means strangely, mysteriously, echoed means that reminded of my grandfathers sitting on the stone bench under the banyan tree. So here you get Rekna is a close picture, means it's a close mirror image of grandfather, stone bench under the banyan tree, in their own small ways, without access to great wealth. So they all do such service without expecting any reward, any wealth reward. So these people are doing tremendous social service. Tremendous means great social service. No one thought of acknowledging their work or rewarding them for it. So none of them thought of acknowledging it or rewarding. Acknowledge means you realize the service and you be grateful to that. അതാണ് acknowledge. തിരിച്ചറിയുകയും നമ്മൾ അതിനോട് നന്ദിയുള്ളവരുമായിരിക്കുക. അതാണ് acknowledging. So you realize the service and you be grateful to them. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ റിവാർഡിങ് മീൻസ് അതിന് നമ്മൾ എന്തെങ്കിലും പ്രതിഫലമായിട്ട് കൊടുക്കുക. ഇപ്പോൾ ഇത് രണ്ടുമില്ല. നിങ്ങളത് നന്ദിയോടുകൂടിയോ കടപ്പാടോടുകൂടിയോ പ്രതിഫലം കൊടുത്തിട്ടോ ഒന്നുമല്ല. ദേ ജസ്റ്റ് ഡൂയിങ് ട്രമെൻഡസ് സോഷ്യൽ സർവീസ്. And they continue to do so as these acts of kindness, acts of kindness gave them joy. Because such kindness, such gestures of kindness, ചില നന്മകൾ അവർക്ക് വളരെയധികം സന്തോഷം കൊടുക്കുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. സോ ഇത്തരം ചെറിയ നന്മകൾ അവർക്ക് കൊടുക്കുന്നത് എന്താണ്? ദാറ്റ് നത്തിങ് ബട്ട് നോ റിവാർഡ്സ് ബട്ട് ജോയ്, ഹാപ്പിനെസ്. And if ever now I happen to pass a Horegallu in a village, whenever I pass by a Horegallu, I remember them and wish there were many more of them in this world. So after this incident, whenever I pass by a Horegallu, I got reminded of my grandfather and Rekna. So I wish there were more Horegallus in our world. In the modern world, we know that we are under stress and strain and we need someone to share our problems. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ലോകത്ത് ഇനിയും ഒരുപാട് ഹൊരഗല്ലൂസ് ഉണ്ടാവട്ടെ എന്നുള്ളതാണ് Sudha Murty stops her anecdote. So we know that നമ്മൾ വലിയ ഫാൻ ഫോളോവേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന സുശാന്ത് സിംഗിൻ്റെ ഒക്കെ മരണം നമുക്ക് ഒരു കോൺഫിഡൻസ്, സമ്മൺ ടു ഷെയർ ഹിസ് പ്രോബ്ലംസ് ദറ്റ് യു കുഡ് ഹാവ് സ്റ്റോപ്ഡ് ഹിസ് ഡെസ്റ്റിനി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഫെയ്റ്റ് എന്ന് പറയാം. അപ്പം ഈ ലോകത്ത് ദാറ്റ് വി നീഡ് ഹൊറഗല്ലൂസ് മീൻസ് സമ്മൺ ടു റിലൈ ഓൺ, സമ്മൺ ടു ഡിപ്പെൻഡ് ഓൺ. അങ്ങനെ